Hawks Hoops Talking Squawk. Ranking Joel Embiid, aka The Process. Now, yeah, we get it. Like, a lot of fans have been real harsh of Embiid lately, and rightfully so, after that epic choke by the 2022-23 league MVP during the second round against the Boston Celtics. And you all know I've been extremely harsh and critical of the reigning MVP after shying away from the spotlight in Game 6 at home. Sixers up 3-2. You finally have a chance to finally put away the Celtics and to finally advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 22 years, while you would have finally beat the Celtics in the playoffs for the first time in 41 years after losing the past 5 playoff series to them. They finally had a chance to do it and blew it in the last minutes as the Celtics come back to win Game 6 to tie the series. And we all know what happened in Game 7. There's no need to rehash that. You know what I mean? We all know Embiid epically choked and has been the target of ridicule from that. But anyway, this is not a video to bash his choking. This is a video ranking Joel Embiid amongst the greatest players in the franchise history of the Philadelphia 76ers. You know, and I've asked this topic just wanting to get the opinion of fellow Sixer fans on different groups and on pages or whatever, and there's a lot of people that's ranking them amongst the top all-time franchise players. Some saying he wouldn't even crack the top 10 or he barely cracks it. Now, when you're ranking a player amongst franchise ranks, you have to factor in a few different things. You have to factor in the individual talent and accolades of the player. Then you have to factor in the team accomplishments. You know, and that's where the rankings can get a little tricky. That's why I've broken it down, and with the 76ers franchise history, you have different tiers. And this will be explained in the upcoming video. But you have the 76ers GOAT tier, which Embiid is not a part of. Not yet anyway. Let's hope that by the end of his 76ers, hopefully / NBA career, that he'll be in that GOAT tier. But right now he's not in that tier, but he's in the MVP tier, as Embiid joins only 5 of the 76ers: Wilt Chamberlain, Julius Erving, Moses Malone, and Allen Iverson as 76ers to win league MVP. He's one of 3 76ers to win the league scoring title, joining Wilt Chamberlain in 1965 and 1966, AI in 2001, 2002, 2005, 2006, and even those first 15 games of the 2006-07 season where Iverson suited up, he averaged 30 points. Embiid joins just those 2 players by averaging 30 points a game in 21-22, a season where it's arguable that he could have won the MVP that year He averaged 33.1 points this past season, which is second to Wilt Chamberlain's 33.5 that he averaged in 1965-66. So Embiid's 33.1 points this season is second all time in franchise history. Now, throughout Embiid's 7 seasons as the Sixers, 27 points a game, 11.2 rebounds, 1.7 blocks, and 3.4 assists. While his playoff averages, they do dip a little bit, going down to 24 points per game, just under 11 rebounds, and a shade under 3 assists, and just shade under 2 blocks. Yeah, it's like when you think about the choking in this year's playoff especially, you also have to take into account that he's never been healthy in the postseason, besides 2020 in the bubble, which was also attributed to a 5-month layoff during the pandemic. But that was the only year Embiid was ever healthy in the postseason. Let's just hope that things change moving forward and that we get a healthy Embiid during the postseason and that he can actually deliver and add some playoff success to his resume. Because from a regular season standpoint, you know what I mean, like those are great numbers. You know what I mean? Which again puts him in the MVP tier. Wilt and Iverson were the only other Sixers to have the scoring showcases that Embiid's had. You know, his 59 points, which is a career high. He was a point away from joining AI and Wilt as the only Sixers to have a 60-point game. You know, but I could see it happening very soon. I could see Embiid shattering that franchise record of 68 points held by Wilt Chamberlain December 16, 1967 in Chicago against the Bulls. 143-123 victory by the Sixers. But I could see Embiid eclipsing that. Definitely having a 60-point game. Like I said, I rank Embiid in the MVP tier, which puts him in the top 5 of all-time franchise players. Now, I know cats will be like, well, he's never won anything. He's never been to the conference finals. Yeah, like, that's all true. But you can't ignore his individual talents. Granted, they've come during the regular season, and we need to see this from Embiid in the postseason where it all matters. But, you know what I mean? Let's just hope that that'll happen soon. Embiid's a 6-time All-Star. You know, MVP, 2-time scoring champion. Like I said, and you can make the argument that he could have won the MVP in 2021 and 21-22. That first season, despite it being a 72-game season where fans weren't allowed in the arena for just about the entire season, Sixer fans, we couldn't even enter the arena until like the last few games of the regular season. You know, then they weren't even allowing full capacity until game 5 of the first round series against Washington. But even despite that, you know, the Sixers had the first seed in the East, won the Atlantic Division, even though they've yet to present a banner. I would have thought they would have raised the banner to the rafters, honoring the 2021 Atlantic Division champions. I mean, the Bucks won the league championship that year. I'm sure they had a banner raised, so you can't say, oh, because of the way the season transpired. I mean, Sixers still won the division. They deserve a banner for it. Yeah, I know that's real pathetic, me campaigning for an Atlantic Division banner when the real goal is an NBA championship banner. Shoot, even the Eastern Conference champions banner. But anyway, Embiid he made the all-rookie first team in 2016-17. Had he played more games, he definitely would have won Rookie of the Year. You know what I mean? That's without a doubt. But he only played in 31 games, so that didn't meet the criteria. But he still headlined the all-rookie team. His second season, he was named to the all-defensive second team, was also all-NBA second team. The following season, all-NBA second team, all-defensive second team. 2021, all-defensive second team and all-NBA second team. The following season, 21-22, all-NBA second team. 2023, all-NBA first team. Of course, he was the league MVP. Now, in those prior two seasons, 2021, 21-22, Embiid definitely should have been on a all-NBA first team. They could have made room for two centers. I mean, they've done it in the past. But like I said in a prior video, they always find ways to shade the Sixers because they hated how the whole process transpired. And while I wasn't a big fan of it either, you know what I mean, Embiid still deserves his credit. You know, without a doubt. You know, so I know a lot of guys saying, oh, Embiid isn't top 10 or he isn't top 5. I've seen guys rate him too high. Like I said, that GOAT tier, I'll announce that on the next video. I'll break down the 76ers GOAT tier, the MVP tier, and who's on that tier with Embiid, followed by the franchise legends tier. But it's safe to say that the MVP tier is the second to the highest tier. Was really the middle tier. Because you only have 3 real tiers, which is the Sixsational 13. But like I said, that's a topic for the next video. Joel Embiid still has, I would say, a good maybe 2 to 3 years left in his prime. But he needs to stay healthy, especially around playoff time. You know his injury history, and we're in that league now. We're in that era now where teams are trying to preserve their best players for the long run of the season. And yeah, we see that they're starting to crack down on load management, rightfully so. But I'm sure Embiid will still have his games off during the season to preserve himself for the long run, because that's going to be crucial. You know, his lack of success in the postseason have a lot of people questioning where he really ranks. And I've been wanting to do this video for a while now. Like, even during the season when Embiid was having his multiple 40 and 50 point games, like, we haven't seen scoring like that from a Sixer since the Iverson days, well over 20 years ago. Or pushing 20 years ago, because 2005 and 2006 AI was probably the best version of AI. You know what I mean? Even better than the version that went to the finals with the Sixers. Remember, going to the finals is a team accomplishment, and that's what brings me back to Embiid. Yeah, the Sixers have had some good teams, but it's like we just always fall short. And with the exception of Atlanta in 2021 when we choked that game 7 at home, because that's a series we should have spanked the Hawks in 5, realistically. There's no way that we should have went 7 games with them, let alone lose game 7 at home. In fact, Sixers lost 3 out of the 4 games that series at home. But with the exception of that team, like I said, all the other teams were constructed better. We might have had the better talent, but 2018 against Boston, we might have had better talent, but they were better constructed. Matter of fact, when you think about it, Tatum and Brown were still young. They weren't the all-star players they are now. But Boston definitely had a better team, and they were way better coached. The following year against Toronto, obviously, they went on to win the championship despite injuries to the Warriors. But, I mean, it happens. When you think about it, you could critique every team that's ever won a championship while evaluating the team that they beat. But anyway, the Raptors were a better constructed team, and Kawhi Leonard was the best player in the league that year, especially during that playoff run. The following year against Boston in the bubble, again, they were the better constructed team. The Hawks, man, that was the only scenario where we were the better team. Even this past year against Boston, they were the better constructed team. And remember, going into that series, nobody had the Sixers winning that series. Everybody had Boston winning. And that's another knock on Embiid. On the night he receives the MVP trophy, the Sixers lose. Like, come on. Man, when AI got the MVP, he went out there and dropped 52 points, and we slaughtered Toronto. 121-88. When AI accepted that award, because I was in the building, all them MVP chants when AI gave that speech about every time he comes into the gym, he hears his favorite song, which was the cheers from the crowd, and he said, let's make this noise and get this party jumping. That's what the Sixers did. Went out there and destroyed the Raptors. 121-88. The greatest Sixers playoff game I ever attended. AI went off for 52 points. Come on. I was praying that Embiid followed in that pursuit. Went out there and put up a 50-piece as we blew Boston out to take the 2-1 lead. Then we could have won game 4 and managed to wrap it up at 6. But obviously that didn't happen. Sixers lost game 3. You know what I mean? Thanks to Harden, we did get a couple of wins in that series. But as usual, you know what I mean? But anyway, this ain't about Mongo Slade. This is about Joel Embiid and his all-time ranking as a Sixer. But game 3, receiving that trophy was Embiid's moment to go out there and dominate. You know what I mean? Nonetheless, he's still in the MVP tier. He did manage to put up 30 points and 13 rebounds in that game 3. You know what I mean? So, I'll give him that. It was James Harden that shot like shit, shooting 21% from the floor and had 5 turnovers. You know, but like, hopefully Embiid still has a couple years left. in his prime. Hopefully it's with the Sixers. So this season, like I said, the beginning of every season looks promising, but there's always seems the end in the disappointment. Hopefully 2023-24 will be different, a way better playoff outcome. Don't be surprised Embiid wins another scoring title. It even goes for a second straight MVP. I mean, Joker did it. Giannis did it. Embiid's up there with them. He just needs to now win a championship and get that finals MVP. But, you know, as much as players want to win, they're still going to go for those individual stats because it pads their resume and makes their resume look better for conversations like this. So, like I said, he still has time. Like I said, hopefully he gets better with trying to stay healthy. I mean, this past season, he did play, well, the season before, he played in a career high 68 games, 66 games this past season, 51 games in 2 seasons prior, 64 in 18-19, 63 in 17-18, and of course the 31 in his rookie season. He's averaged 20 points every season of his career, 20.2 his rookie year, 22.9 the season after that, 27.5 in 18-19. To me, that was his best chance of winning a championship. That team with Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, J.J. Redick, Tobias Harris, and Embiid. That loss to Toronto, like I said, it wasn't a heartbreaker to me. It was a disappointment because they had a chance to wrap that series up in 6. You had a 2-1 lead going into Game 4 at home, and you lose Game 4. Knowing your chances of winning another game in Toronto are slim to none. So, 10,718 total points. I said would be more than that. I'm wondering if Embiid will crack the 20,000 point mark. He will probably have to play another 6-7 years depending on his scoring and how many games he plays. But nonetheless, Joel Embiid, I rank him up there with the top legends to play for the franchise. He's in the MVP tier. He does have a league MVP. Can't take that away. He does have 2 scoring titles. Let's just hope and pray to the basketball gods and the hoops heavens that he gets there. That he goes beyond that and can hopefully earn his spot on the 76ers GOAT tier. But anyway, look out for that next video highlighting the Sixsational 13. Shout out to Joel Embiid, bruh. I know I bashed you and clowned you a lot after that epic choke, but that's just me wanting the best for the home team. Because it's not about the name on the back. It's about the team name and the city that they're representing. You know what I mean? But as long as you're playing for that team, I'm going to give you your salute and wish you nothing but the best Sixsation. But anyway, this was a little Hawks Hoops Talking Squawk. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content. Hawk out.